This episode may contain explicit language.
I have 3 girls under 6, and the youngest is 16 months old. She's a clinger that cries or screams about everything.
When your kid is strong-willed and is a big feeler but can't speak yet, that's so frustrating for them.
I think that consistency is so important with neurodivergent kids. A lot of times the therapists will call it scaffolding.
Let's talk TV.
Are there any middle ground children's shows appropriate for an 8-year-old boy that are neither overly preachy, where every episode is a deep life lesson?
Have any of your kids watched Odd Squad? It's super weird. It doesn't feel lessony.
A lot of people on the Facebook thread recommended Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Do not sleep on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, Muppet
Like the
Show.
old Muppet Show?
Yeah.
Or
The
Any of
new,
them.
the new, the old, it doesn't matter. Welcome to Karen Feeding, the show that's as honest and messy as parenting itself. I'm Lucy Lopez. I host another podcast too, The Mamacita Rica. I'm mother to Amelia, who's 15, Avery, who's about to be 13 this month, and we live in Miami.
I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom to Henry, who's 13, Oliver, who's 11, and Teddy, who's 9. And this is our last show in Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm Zak Rosen. I make another podcast called Weirdly Helpful, and I am dad to Ami, who's 5, Noah, who's 8, and we live in Detroit.
So this week, we've got double listener letters.
Does anyone else have the double your refreshment? Do you remember the
Doublemint Gum, for sure.
Doublemint Gum with all the twins?
They're our sponsors for this episode. They should be.
The parents need help, and that is exactly what we're here for. First up, we're talking about good TV shows for older kids, and then we're talking 8 to 13 range here. We have a parent that is sick of preachy shows, but also doesn't want their kid to just stare at mindless stuff. We got some recommendations for the middle ground.
And then we have a parent who is wined out.
Like what? Like they don't want to drink any more wine?
Yeah, no, it's not the fun kind of wine. This parent has a 16-month-old stage 5 clinger who cries about everything. We are going to help them through it.
So stick around. We'll be back.
Welcome back. Let's talk TV. I love it. I love talking about TV. But before we get to the listeners' questions, we got a lot of questions about screen time. Like what's too much? When is it appropriate? And at what ages? We've got kids across the spectrum. So let's start by revealing what's our screen rules in our own homes. Elizabeth, what are your restrictions? And what do those restrictions look like on the boys?
It's hard to narrow it down because I think it's sort of day to day, but generally it's screens with permission is what I would say. We do I keep the screens, they're plugged in a particular place, which I control. And we're not really they have to ask to use them, but there's not a set amount of time. I don't know. They have to be used in public spaces. We don't allow them in any, rooms. Generally, if we're watching something, TV, even a lot of times YouTube, it's on the big screen. So we're kind of all participating in that. But obviously, because we homeschool, they use screens, and often I use screens as a babysitter to get time or, whatever I need. How about you, Zach? What are the rules currently?
So there's no YouTube. The kids have access to the kids, version of Netflix and Disney. They're currently sharing one tablet as the other one broke. They get a little bit during the week. It's very helpful for them to get 15 minutes in the morning over breakfast. So they get that. Sometimes we do a movie. Sometimes they get half hour to an hour in the evening if we're not doing much. Last night they watched The Grinch. And then on the weekend mornings, Shira and I sleep in on Saturday morning, and they get probably 2 hours with the iPad, and they're watching stuff together. Noah's really into cooking shows. Ami's they love Bluey a lot. We'll talk more about what they're into. But again, there's not a rule per se, but they put them away when we tell them to, and we always give them a warning first, like a 10-minute, 2-minute kind of thing.
On the Lopez Casa is a little different. Our kids are their schedules are insane with homework and theater practice, rehearsals, and all that. So what I like to do is when they get home from school, I'm always asked for like, please, I don't want to get into homework or studying right now. So they have half an hour. And in that half an hour, if Avery and I had a really deep conversation about YouTube shorts on our vacation, um, because it's just like the content is too fast. So we put a time limit on YouTube shorts. She can only watch 5 to 10 minutes of it, and that is it. Um, and so she now is like negotiating, like, oh, can I have those 10 minutes when I get home from school? And I'm like, yeah. And then if they want to watch like a TV, it's got to be a movie or a documentary or something somewhat educational. That's Avery, who's 13, about to be 13. Amelia, who's a teenager, wants to use her hour to watch Grey's Anatomy.
Season 56.
Exactly. She's watching Grey's Anatomy. She's watching Dawson's Creek. She's watching Gossip Girl. She's watching Lost. And I don't have the heart to tell her how Lost ends. And when I hear her talk about it, I literally laugh to myself because she's like, can you believe? And I'm like, uh-huh. So she'll watch like an episode and then she'll get to homework. She, they have so much homework and so much shit to do for school, which I hate. But it's basically like an hour a day. It's really all they have time for. And if we finish having dinner early, their go-to is The Office, and we get to watch like one episode, which is literally 30 minutes. That is it. Or Abbott Elementary, which is their favorite show. Big shout out to what's her name? Bronson. You're the bomb. I love you. My children love you. My daughter wants to grow up to be like you. So there's that in my house. So yeah, it's like about an hour and a half a day. That's it.
Okay, so let's get to our listener question. Are there any middle ground children's shows appropriate for an 8-year-old boy that are neither overly preachy, where every episode is a deep life lesson, like Bluey, though I admit I haven't watched it much, nor completely anti-intellectual with zero redeeming value, Looney Tunes, Tweety, Paw Patrol? He's obviously outgrown Peppa Pig, which I initially found annoying, then oddly likable, and eventually annoying again with all the snorting and repetitive themes. Charlie Brown showed promise, interesting characters and themes, but the delivery was rough. The older episodes leaned hard into bullying, self-loathing, and destroying anything good, true to the original comics, while the newer ones felt off, either forced or misguided, like the Peanuts movie. So, TLDR, looking for shows appropriate for an 8-year-old boy with interesting characters, good storylines, and real emotional depth without spoon-feeding explicit lessons every episode. Do such shows exist? Why are so many children's shows so dumb? This was a question that came in the Slate Parenting Facebook group, which you should join if you aren't already. This had a ton of engagement, so I'm going to be reading listener responses as we talk about this too, because a lot of people have great suggestions.
I do think the 8-year-old is hard because we're still like, depending on where your 8-year-old is, and like, so like my oldest when he was 8 was definitely, we were still in younger shows, versus my like Teddy, his like what he can have at 8 because he's the youngest of 3 is like very different. You know what I mean? Like he's just like where you fall. I have sort of like Wild Kratts, Magic School Bus, Octonauts, which I think might not pass your cramming a lesson down your throat test, but these are 3 that like we all still like and talk. Like I will often show an episode of these for a homeschool thing, and even the 13-year-old finds them entertaining. They're definitely like, the characters are fun on all of them, but they are definitely I would say on the lessony side of things. Like these are teaching you about animals. To kind of break from that, have any of your kids watched Odd Squad, which is another PBS?
My kids love Odd Squad.
Yeah, my kids loved it.
It's super weird. It doesn't feel lessony, but it's fun. Like I think it feels like you're getting junk food, but it's not junk food.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some nutrition in it. And the parent who wrote this said that they don't. Okay, Bluey doesn't need any more positive PR, but I'm going to give it that this parent said that they haven't watched much Bluey. Bluey is incredible. Bluey
like
is
I would watch Bluey. Don't you feel like we did a whole episode? We'll link to we did an entire episode on Bluey.
Yeah, no, Bluey is incredible. Give it a try. But if we want something a little bit more, I don't even want to call it sophisticated, just a little bit, I don't know, more narrative. A lot of people on the Facebook thread recommended Avatar: The Last Airbender. I actually haven't seen the show. I've seen Noah got one of the graphic novels, and it's really good. But it's about this 12-year-old, and it's animated, but it's like really cool, and it's like Asian inspired, and it's amazing. A lot of people really love that one. Um, and then just as a general, like, where can I find good stuff? Amy on Facebook wrote, check out Common Sense Media. If you don't know about that already, it'll let you search by age and has lots of descriptions and reviews. Almost everything, including Japanese anime, is available somewhere. Amy said, my daughter loves the anime shows. I think quite a lot of them are truly awful, lazy, repetitive writing, regressive gender roles, silly life lessons, but others are quite good. So I got another vote for Odd Squad on Facebook. Investigators, my kids are big into now, which is like kids solving mysteries.
My daughter's watched, I mean, I know this is for advice for a parent with a boy, but I mean, I don't know if it matters or not, but Barbie has some great episodes on Netflix. Those episodes rock. Yeah, dude. And also, do not sleep on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, Muppet
Like the
Show.
old Muppet
Yeah,
Show?
yeah.
Or
The
Any of
new,
them.
the new, the old, it doesn't matter. My kids are weird. They're theater kids, so they're like, the Muppet Show it is. And Amelia, who's 15 years old, will sit there and watch episode after episode, and she's like cackling, laughing, and the same laugh that I got from her when she was 8, we would watch the Muppet Show, I still get from her now when she's a teenager. So there's just some shows out there that you really need to also sit and watch. I don't know. I think Barbie was, I would watch it and I'd be like, who wrote this? This is a great storyline.
Don't sleep on Babysitter's Club either. My boys love the Babysitter's Club series.
Yes, the
Babysitter's Club
babysitter
is so good.
So good.
And the graphic novels are like, I love a book tie, like you can get the graphic novels, which are great. The books are great, and the series is just top notch.
Wendy on Facebook had a bunch of suggestions. Octonauts, Tumbleleaf, City of Ghosts, Puffin Rock, Babysitter's Club, Ivy and Bean, Ada Twist, Investigators, Little Lunch, Owl House, Hilda, Moon Girl, and Devil Dinosaur. Wendy says some of these are kind of messagey, but none are overstimulating garbage.
I think you mentioned this at the top, Zach, but I think this is the prime age for cooking and crafting shows too. Like those are still a hit here. We really like Making It with Amy Poehler. Like the seasons of that are great. There's plenty of, all types of people making all types of things. We love that. Any of the like Lego building shows, there's junior version, there's older version, Great British Baking Show, there's junior version, older. Like this is great age for that because they're old enough to understand what's going on and want to do stuff. So I think those are really fun. I think Horrible Histories are great. Again, does not pass the this is not a lesson test, but I mean, come on, who doesn't want to hear about like how vile, one's called like Vile Victorians? Like it's just great. Like if your kid is into kind of the gruesome-y, weird history stuff, this is a great bizarro series.
Also, a bunch of people are talking about Phineas and Ferb, which my friends have been recommending to me for a while. Did you two ever get into that?
That's a great show. Also, the old Simpson episodes, like season 1 and 2.
Phineas and Ferb is like a lighter version of it's Simpson-esque without as much of the adult humor.
Simpsons is a good idea for some 8-year-olds. Some 8-year-olds are ready.
Yeah, I think it depends what your household tolerance for some things are. Did you guys watch? Okay, the others that we watched as a family that we loved was The Mysterious Benedict Society, which is based on a great. If you have not read that book as a family, please go do that. But the TV show is great. The Mysterious Benedict Society. I think there's 2 seasons of it, and Lemony Snicket: Series of Unfortunate Events, another great book series. Good movie, but the TV show is excellent.
SpongeBob, another Facebook member said, is a big one. Pokemon, Adventure Time. What's it called? Steven Universe. A lot of people love Steven Universe, which is an animated show that's on Hulu, Disney. It's kind of like inspired by some of the Japanese anime, but it's I've seen a couple of them, and one of my friends is obsessed with it, whom I respect. So there's a lot of, there's never been more options. It's just really figuring out what your kid is into.
Thank you so much for that email. I hope that all our suggestions, not only on Facebook, but here on this episode, are going to help you make a decision. Go with The Muppet Show. Classic, and you can never go wrong. with Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. We want to know what's going on in your parenting world. Got a story, a question, a triumph, a meltdown? Share with us. Email KarenFeedingPod@slate.com or leave us a voicemail at 646-357-9318. We're going to take one more quick break and we'll be right back in a second with another listener question.
Let's be honest, life gets messy, families fight, coworkers overstep, partners do weird stuff in bed. Luckily, Slate's advice columnists have seen it all. Sign up for the free Slate Advice newsletter and get our latest takes on sex, parenting, money, and every moral gray area in between, plus exclusive bonus letters delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe now at slate.com/advice.
Welcome back. Let's talk screaming kids.
More like scream time, am I right?
Elizabeth, can you read this question for us, please?
I have 3 girls under 6, and the youngest is 16 months old. She's a clinger that cries or screams about everything. Everything. This is new to me because my first 2 truly only cried when hungry. And I mean, even when getting shots or falling. So some of my feelings about this crying is that we went years before experiencing such behavior. But my youngest cries or truly bloody murder screams if you gently tell her no, if she doesn't have the same food on her plate that somebody else does, if you pick her up to wait in line, if you guide the baby shopper cart because she's running into people, if you wipe her nose, if she has to wipe her hands, if the yogurt bites are in a bowl and not in the bag, if she has to use her water bottle and not mine. I have brought it up to the pediatrician to ask about neurodivergence. That would not be new in our family, but she told me that I just have a strong-willed kid and that none of what I described flagged for ASD or anything else. My daughter is extremely smart, but isn't able to talk yet, and she has just started using ASL, but it's not helping communicate her needs enough to avoid the tantrums. I don't know if they're actually meltdowns because it's literally everything, everywhere, all at once, and all the time. Advice? Will this ever end? What is this like when they're bigger? I'm starting to crack. First of all, it will end. The only thing I can guarantee is this too shall pass.
I mean, it sounds like a confluence of factors. The communication piece, like when your kid is strong-willed and is a big feeler but can't speak yet, that's so frustrating for them. And it sounds like you're starting on the ASL path, and soon they'll be communicating. And I think that, to Elizabeth's point, is going to change things a lot once they can articulate themselves better. I hope and think that a lot of these issues are going to dissipate a bit. But I think what can we do in your house to mitigate this to the best of our ability? Like predictability, it sounds like, would be a big one. Like your kid needs order, and you can give that to them, like, to a certain degree, with food, with bottles, with cups, with plates, like that kind of thing. Like you can be really systematic and do your best to to show them some consistency where you do have control, and that too will probably help. But yeah, I mean, this sounds very, very challenging.
I think that consistency is so important with neurodivergent kids. A lot of times the therapists will tell you, like, call it scaffolding, which is basically where you're building a world around them that helps them move through it. And it's hard because in parenting, we so often are like, but we have to learn these lessons. And the point is kind of like, your kid is not ready to learn these lessons right now. They need more of a scaffold. So I think if that means that, like, even if they don't eat it, you're always putting the same thing on the plate. Like every plate looks the same. There are these things you can do that somebody somewhere is going to tell you, you're pacifying them. And it's like, yes, but that is what I have to do to get through this moment, because they're not going to learn any of these lessons when their body is on fire, which is, I think, what's happening. Like they're going from 0 to 60 before they know what's happening. They don't have communication. They might just be a really sensitive, like deep feeling child. I know Teddy is a lot like this, but it goes to anger. Like he goes to anger is the first thing he goes to about everything. And I mean, the bad news when I say this too will pass is, like, he's 9 and we are still dealing with this. We do have sensory issues in play. We have a bunch of other stuff. But what has happened is that I know the tools and I'm still consistently doing the same things, which is like as soon as he goes there, the first thing I say is, hey, you're safe. You are safe. Your body is safe. I am here. I love you. I know that you're having big feelings. Like I say that 100 times a day, but I'm doing that first before then I'm saying, all right, I see that you are upset, like giving them that language. The thing is that I think when you say you're going to crack, the thing about this is like you are doing all the work and it's really hard and it's extra parenting and you need to acknowledge that to your other caregiver, to other people. Like if this child needs to go into a daycare or some kind of care or somebody's taking them for breaks because they are just more work, I think that's something you have to do. Also, a pair of loop earplugs will save your life, and just wear them around the house. Like I just have to wear mine sometimes.
And it just blunts the sound,
just to blunt the sound, because I know that I can't, like, you can't yell back. Like when they yell, you want to yell like, shut up, but you can't do that. Like that is more crazy train situation. You have to be the one that says like, I know that you feel something in your body feels uncomfortable, or we're not giving you what you want, but you're safe and you're loved.
This parent says even a gentle no will get a big scream. What's an alternative to a gentle no?
I think that's what they're going to say, is that it's a redirect, or that you're like, again, with the scaffolding, you're just, if actually the word no is a trigger, is it that they were surprised by the no? Sometimes I find just instead of saying no, like restating the rule. So like, you want to, I don't know, eat and you're going up to bed, and you can just say, oh, actually our next step is this, right? So like but you're going to have to find what that is for your kid. Like for me, through some like help by occupational therapists, I discovered that Teddy's redirect is like he has a really hard time changing activities. And so the redirect is either like making it fun, or just my consistency in saying, like, he'll say, I don't want to go. That's the thing he says all the time. I don't want to go. And it's like, okay, I know you don't want to go, but we are going. And he knows that he's not, like, the opportunity to stay is not going to be there. And so there's just not as much of a fight. But even now at 9, if I went downstairs and told him we were going somewhere, he'd say, I don't want to go, or I don't care. And I have to just say, I know you feel that way. I know this is not what you want to do. This is what we're doing. Like, you're going to have to find that path.
Do you think it helps when you say, I know you don't want to go, but we're going to be leaving in 10 minutes, and we're going to be leaving in 5 minutes, rather than like, we're going now? Like I find that makes a big difference in our house. Just the warning, just the, prepping.
And you're like, the way you started that, instead of with an argument, Zach, you started with I see you don't want to do this. Like I do actually get that.
Is it wrong just to be like, I'm looking at some of the issues that they brought up in this letter, and one of them is if the yogurt bites are in a bowl and not in the bag, well,
don't put them in a bowl.
Either don't put them in a bowl, or if she won't eat them out of the bowl, then take away the yogurt bites. Now you're not going to have yogurt bites. You have to eat it the way that I gave it to you. This is what we're doing today. Or also, if she has to use her water bottle and not mine, I'm assuming she throws a fit if she can't use the parent's water bottle. That's okay. Let her throw a fit. You're not going to have water if you don't have your water bottle.
I hear you. I just think when you have a child like this and everything is the fight, right? Like, yeah, sometimes it just feels like, I do think this is right. Like there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. You're absolutely right. But that doesn't, like, in my experience with these children, not drinking out of the water bottle, then they're just not going to drink water. Like a lot of times they are, so now you have constipation, right? Or, okay, you won't give me the yogurt bites, which I think is the whole point is I agree. If the rule is the water bottle, I would just remove my water bottle from the situation. Like, you only can drink out of yours, but mine is not even present. Like, that's the scaffolding. Mine is not even present. It's not even an option, right?
Got it. Okay.
But I agree. Like, you have to have some boundaries. I think this person is writing, like, I can't set, everything is too much. Like, I can't, if it's not the yogurt, like if I put the yogurt bites, in the bowl and then she doesn't eat them, then she's not eating anything because
They
it's
might
not
want
right
to
on the
consider
plate.
changing pediatricians too.
Because of my experience that I had with this PANDAS diagnosis and having so many doctors tell me this is not what he had, and me just
Right.
knowing, there's like we could do a whole thing on a doctor that told me that he would see one in his entire career, one case of this. And I said, yes, right here, sitting in front of you. And he was like, no, this isn't it. And 2 doctors later, someone actually ordered the test. All they had to do was order the tests. Anyway, I think if you still feel like this is more, that you should get a second opinion, or go to, and if you, this does not mean that anything is wrong with your pediatrician, but they see this child once, and we as parents are really bad reporters. Like when you, like your pediatrician is seeing tons of children whose parents come in and say all of these things. So this is not, I don't think this pediatrician is at fault. I just think you haven't said the words that open the door. And so if
Wait,
you
so
go
what do
home
they have
and
to
you,
say?
yeah, you just need to say, I know I came in here and we talked about this, but it's something more. This is just definitely something more. I'm around a lot of other children. This is beyond. And if it's not beyond, then I need help parenting through this, right? But I think it's like if you don't know what to say. So on that hand, this kid also sounds to me like maybe there are some sensory issues. You could download a sensory profile and take it yourself. And if it flags, you can bring that to the pediatrician. If you're seeing other neurodivergent things, go take an online free test and go to the pediatrician armed with this. Because that is, I mean, again, this is not PANDAS or anything like that, but for the PANDAS diagnosis, what finally did it was me printing the list of things, I mean, and a new doctor, and writing out how we met every condition and kind of handing it to this doctor and saying, this is why I think this is it, and this is why I want this test. I just don't want anyone to ever think that the word of a doctor is
right,
end and good. Not because, but also don't take that to mean that they don't know what they're doing, but they saw you for 20 minutes. And maybe the way you described it, I think often when parents describe things, we make it sound like it's not as bad, or we seem so frantic that the doctor interprets it as like, oh yeah, but all kids cry about these things. Like, this is what toddlers do. Oh yeah, when you get to the forest, it's the fuck you forest. They don't want to do anything. But if you in your heart as the mom feel like this is just more, I have 2 other children and this is just way more, it probably is there. It is something way more.
Trust yourself.
But yeah, the other thing is, have you set, Lucy, actually, the more I think about your thing is like, have you set these boundaries and what happens? Like if you kept a boundary for a whole day.
Yeah, try to be consistent with it.
I was like quick to jump to, I know what that looks like for me. But if you just didn't let her have if the yogurt bites just sat in that bowl all day, what happens? All right, listeners, well, we want to know what you think. How would you navigate this? Send us your tips. You can let us know what you think by emailing careandfeedingpod@slate.com or leaving us a voicemail, 646-357-9318, or post it in the Slate Parenting Facebook group.
We've opened up what we're calling the Holiday Crisis Hotline. It's just a place for you to vent, ask questions, and share whatever else you need to get through this busy holiday season. Call us at 646-357-9318. Or you can email us your story, and we might share it on the show.
But before we go, this week on Slate Plus Playground, we are talking about gifts that kids can make to give to other people, like the abuelos, the grandparents, the teachers. Elizabeth, I feel like this is like right up your alley. So like, could you give us like a little taste of what you might recommend?
I'm going to recommend you cut up your kids' art.
If you're a Slate Plus member, you can join us on the playground right now. The segment is live in your podcast feed right next to this show. If you're not a Plus member, we hope you'll consider showing your support. In addition to our undying love and gratitude, you'll get some great perks with Slate Plus. You'll get to hear the playground segment every week. And of course, this show and all the other Slate favorites totally ad-free. We hope you'll consider it. That's our show. Whenever, wherever, however you're listening, subscribe, leave a rating and review, and tell all your friends. If you want more parenting advice, you can find Care and Feeding, the column, on slate.com. This episode of Care and Feeding is produced by Cheyna Roth. Micah Phillips is our video producer. Mia Lobel is executive director of podcast for Slate. And Ben Richmond cuts the checks. Actually, he's the Senior Director of Podcast Operations. For Elizabeth Newcamp and Zak Rosen, I'm Lucy Lopez. Thank you for listening.
If you want more no-nonsense advice about parenting, relationships, money, and everything else life throws your way, sign up for the Slate Advice newsletter. A special thanks to our Slate Plus members. If you haven't already, consider joining. Slate Plus members get unlimited access to all of Slate's journalism and help support our independent reporting.